Welcome to our podcast, where we discuss and meet with people, businesses, and trades that have motivated and inspired us along the way of creating our own business, River Road Brewing and Hops. I'm your host, Nikki Andrew, the original River Road Blonde, and this is Down River Road.
Take a moment every day, smell the roses, that's what they say. Never dwell upon the past, never drink from a dirty glass. Lock the hammers like that's good. It hasn't happened, but knock on wood. Must have been here 7 years, rabbit's foot and a shamrock tree. Lady luck, fate is written twice. The shine is once scripted. Poorly floored, it will bring you luck. Luck will often visit fools. Walk under ladders, you breaking the rules. Look a gift horse in the mouth, and lucky sevens will bring you real. Pay the fight for all the turn, but not to worry, I'll be back soon. You can always catch a say, and every dog will have his day.
Welcome back to another episode of Down River Road, guys. I'm so happy to be here at home for once, which is kind of crazy. We are on stage right now at River Road Brewing with some very, very special guests that are here to play tonight. And we're going to have a little conversation about their insane busy lives. So welcome, Robbie and Sandy.
Thanks for having us.
Robbie and Sandy are the Mudmen. Started out as the Campbell brothers, right?
Yeah, we started as Campbell Brothers years ago, and then we actually got signed to EMI Records as the Campbell Brothers, but then we changed the name to Mudmen.
Which is perfect.
And it came from us working in brickwork for so long, and so that's the Mudmen mixes the mortar and supplies the bricks. And so there's 6 of us, we're a whole band, and but Rob and I started the band.
Next year will be 25 years, which is insane if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy.
Well, we said time flies when you're having fun or even when you're not. But we said we paid our dues, and we said we were planning on some great things there. We joked around about, some T-shirts, 25 and still alive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are surprised when they find out that, we've been around so long, because they go to an event and they see a band similar to us that's been around since breakfast, and they wonder if they influenced us. And it's like, well, we're going on 5 years,
long
and
time.
they're going on 25 minutes, and
Well, we said too, we actually started around 1992 playing with like the Irish Rovers,
Yeah.
which Rob got that. And we always talk about being friendly and sociable never hurt us, and
Right.
sometimes the cool kids think you're not supposed to talk so much, but it's helped us out. So we've actually been doing this since around 92.
Which is-
And then 95, I guess, we put together the whole band and lost lots of money and stuff like that, Then 98, we did a Mervish production. That's what got us signed to EMI Records and all
Which
that.
is insane, yeah.
It's been a kind of a crazy road now. My husband and I first saw you, actually, it's kind of a crazy story if we go way back.
My friend Liz, who I think both of you know,
Oh, yes.
was who introduced me to the music. And then when I heard you were going to be at the Fergus Scottish Festival, I was like, well, we have to go. And I'm pretty sure Liz came with us to that concert. I can't remember 100%. But at that time, it was like the Fergus Scottish Festival where you would play was a tiny little tent. And I remember walking in and you're like surrounded by men in kilts everywhere. There's men in kilts. And you guys came on stage and it was like insane. Everyone went wild. It was such an awesome show. But that was like back in, I don't want to say.
It was
Probably around 2000.
Yeah, like
it's hard to know. In that time, in that small tent, that might have been the time that our drummer's father was close to passing away. So we had a substitute guy came in with 2 or 3 days notice, and he's the guy that plays with Tom Cochran and people like that, nailed it.
Amazing, yeah.
So, yeah, we weren't firing on all cylinders that night, but
it was a good show.
it was good, and we
that.
of course we were much more wild in our early days because I think we had to be when people talk about the bagpipes, they have a preconceived notion in their minds, so we had to try to change the way they think, you know.
Absolutely, and I get that. That makes sense.
Let's talk about some of your past accomplishments. And I know something that always comes up is your meeting with the Queen. And I know it's kind of one of those things where it happened. It's amazing. It has to be a good experience.
Yeah, it was a great experience. We said there was a band in the States, and they said they finally made their parents proud when they got to perform for the president. And our mom's a huge fan of the royal family and this and that. And I think that was a big moment. And we said we got to spend the whole week with Ron McLean and Bare Naked Ladies and all the acts that were on that card rehearsing. And we got to dive into Canadian culture and tip a few cold ones. No River Road breweries.
Not yet.
But we said that was a great experience, and we said, Philip was talking to my brother Sandy about the military boots we wear, and he was very educated on, the military boots. The 11 eyelet boot was the Canadian Garrison, and so that was just a great experience, and that's something that can't be taken away. And actually, one time we were out and with Glenn Healy doing a celebrity event, and Jim Cuddy said to us, he said, you guys have accomplishments that I don't, and that was one, obviously.
Yeah, and we said the other thing I think has been interesting about our career, and even in our documentary we've been working on forever, but when you see video of us with Kamala, the Ugandan giant from WWE wrestling, and Jimmy Hart, who managed Hulk Hogan, and then you go to the Queen,
Yeah.
and then you go to the Irish Rovers,
Right.
and then you go to, like, we've opened for DOA and things like this,
Which is
and
pretty
so
amazing
we've
in
been
itself.
from one extreme to the other, where who else could say that they could play for a children's venue, but you could also play one of the nastiest bars you could find, so, and I mean, even the week before we shook hands with the Queen, we were playing some wild shows, so we didn't tell her that.
No.
She did. What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
No, I hope not. I'm sure there's more of that.
She might have enjoyed it. She might have had fun. I bet you, she's probably fun when she gets a chance.
You see all the time of her doing some crazy, like just little off the wall things that you wouldn't expect her to do.
They said her mom was awesome too, like
Right.
apparently the Queen. Our mom really liked the Queen's mom, and so
she would end her day with scotch and started with the bagpipes. So how
Right?
can you
Hey.
You can't go wrong there.
yeah, which
Isn't
we
that how
got.
everyone starts and ends their day?
Well, we said that.
Maybe that's just here.
Even after the event was done and we got to shake hands in that, Peter Mansbridge, he's pretty iconic in Canada, and he said the turning point of the show was when the Campbell brothers joined Johnny Reed and the Queen smiled, and he gave us a nice plug, and that's going to be part of the documentary, and people are going to be
amazing.
shocked here because we said people don't realize where we've been, who we know, what we've done, and you can tell people and they go, yeah, that guy's drinking that River Road stuff again, and then you show them, and all of a sudden it's a different ball game. We've been at parties before where we're kind of getting disrespected because we're the guys in skirts and playing octopuses, and in comes Don Cherry, who's been amazing to us, and I think we might be two of the only guys that have his phone number right now.
Which is pretty amazing,
But,
honestly. Don,
Well, Don put the uniform on last year, went out into the backyard, put the good suit on there, and gave us a nice shout out for the documentary.
Fantastic,
And Ron and Tara Sloan, right from Hometown Hockey, gave us a nice shout out, and so he said for us it's pretty amazing. I don't think people really even know what we've done,
I mean, like I was reading through, and I always do this before I have a podcast. I try and find as much information as I can, but knowing it's going to be a quick interview.
Never quick with us.
I was going through the list and I was like, there's no way I can go through all of this. These are so many cool experiences that you've had.
and you're still going. Like, it's still happening, and
We
that's the
said
cool
too,
thing.
another thing people don't understand. Like most people, you know, looking from the outside in, and I was one of these people too. Obviously, I was delusional and you know, had a different idea of what it's really all about. But some of the worst moments make the best stories for
Absolutely.
the book, though. You know,
Not in the moment.
Maybe
but later
not at the
on,
time,
yes.
but even Rob and I back in the day, we'd be telling stories. We're living in a van down by the river like Chris Farley, you know, and
Well, sometimes, you know, we always joke around and you tell, you know, band players and different people that want advice in that, it's like, take sound check and everything serious because you don't know who's watching. And it's like the other day we did a big festival and Ron from the PA shop, who's a great guy, he's a friend of ours, he heard about the new lineup, he came out to see us, and he's got more power than anybody in that field. And so a quick story about that was we were wanting to get into the Memorial Cup again, and so we had our buddy Gord Riddell that worked for the Edmonton Oilers, you know, call up and give us a reference, and we had the Hunters from hockey of, you know, London Knights. And whatever, hockey legends, and Ron McLean put a good word in for us, and then the guy that was booking the event's daughter said she saw this band play to nobody in a snowstorm in Saskatchewan somewhere, and all of a sudden he took her advice and he hired us. And so all of a sudden you've got hockey greatness and legacies, and all of a sudden you just don't know where help's going to come from.
Right.
like we would think anyone that saw that show might have been the opposite. That and we've said that you play a show sometimes and you play to thousands of people and it looks really good, and they've been drinking and they're drunk, and then sometimes you play to a smaller crowd and you can see the difference at the merchandise table, you know, and you sometimes
people are there for a reason. They're there to see you specifically.
yeah, and like especially we've been doing a lot more small towns and rural stuff, and
Which is
I
good
mean
to
we
see.
grew up on the farm anyway, right? So that's our background, and we were telling the story. We were playing McNaughton Home Hardware this Mother's Day this year, so we got fertilizer bags to the right, and you want propane over to the left, and you know, it was a fantastic. We had the biggest merch sales that night than we've had all year so far. At any theater we've played, 400-seat theaters or Boot Hill Country Jamboree or anything, McNaughton's Home Hardware to a small group of farmers, and biggest merchandise sales of the year.
Well, and you know, like to me, an intimate show, like a smaller show where there's less people is more exciting for me, because you get a different experience than seeing it at a big stadium or when you've got thousands of people in the crowd. It's just like you're just another number, whereas when you're playing to a smaller crowd, in my mind, you're making eye contact, you're having real conversations with people, you're able to do that kind of thing.
Well, we're still a firm believer of, like, for the crowds we play for anyway, is we're very friendly. So if you want to meet anybody in the band, the whole band's friendly. And,
yeah, they are.
And sometimes, you know, these bands that don't want to meet their fans and stuff like that, like, you have to do that on the way up and usually on the way down again too.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that goes a long ways.
I do too,
In
100%.
the small towns, though, you're playing to real people, and we said that's a great thing when you play, like, you know, when we were dropped by the record label and Much Music quit playing us, and now we found out that St. Mary's and St. Thomas and Sarnia and Owen Sound and Goderich and the little towns kept us alive. People are real and they don't care, and when you go to these big events, people hear with their eyes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the crowd's going nuts, and like the other day we sold a lot of merch in Bothwell with the new CD out, and this and now we had a better time spot. We went on at 7:30, it was still daylight, people weren't, you know, too partied up yet. And the ones that wanted to be in bed earlier came out and we sold merch. If we had the next time slot, we would look more like rock stars, but we wouldn't have sold the CDs and made the...
You wouldn't have had the same crowd there that you would in the earlier shows.
Once they get too many of these in there, then the BS.
Speaking of these, let's talk a little bit about this, guys. It's Mudmen BS. I'm going to let you tell the rest of the story. We've made the beer. You tell the story about the beer.
I bugged the fine folks here at River Road Brewing about doing a beer, and we said we twisted their arm, and
That was a lot of twisting. There was no twisting.
we said we wanted a nice light beer that everybody would enjoy in the summertime, and we said I think they nailed it out of the park. A really good friend of ours drew the cartoon,
Which is awesome.
And, he's a great guy, and so we said we were joking around that we were going to try to do a farmer's tan because of the new CD, but then that was taken and.
Really?
Yeah,
so
surprisingly,
interesting.
yeah.
I'll have to look that one up.
Well, we said they're good people there too. I won't mention competition there, but
It's always, we're all good friends, so
and
it's all fine.
well, it's Stone Pickers out of Forest, so they've been to our shows, and so they're going to
I do know,
actually
yeah.
they want business cards that basically say enjoy cold farmer's tan from Stone Pickers while listening to Mudmen, and they're going to hand it out with every
That's
case that
awesome.
they sell. So we said the craft brewery community seems to be very, very
Close knit.
close.
Yeah, absolutely.
like one another.
We do. Yeah, we spend. I know people are always surprised by that when I say that.
It is surprising.
We spend a lot of time together helping each other out. Like whether it's we ran out of a bag of lactose to make a certain beer or a special bag of grain. I can call a neighboring brewery and be like, "Hey guys, we need this today. We've run out," and they will drive it to us. Like we don't even have to drive to pick it up. And we just do that with each other all the time. That's just how we kind of have formed our own alliance in a weird way.
We actually released a beer in 2018 for our 20th anniversary because, like we said earlier on, people think that we've just been formed at breakfast and here we are kind of thing. And so we thought, well, they're going to look at the accomplishments and see us with, Ron McLean and the Queen and stuff like that. And it was a little bit of a brag sheet and this and that. And so we said, I think we were one of the first bands to do it. The Hip have released one since, and the Trues and bands like that. And we said, there's a few different breweries are talking about a quick 25 beer for us, 25-year beer next year, like whatever. So we said, it's... we sell beer when we play music. Celtic music sells beer.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
else. And so
100%.
Hopefully this one is here for good.
I think so. Yeah,
The
we really like it.
The 25-year ones are going to be more quick in and out in the story. And I was talking to Dave that my brother Sandy had a great idea that March is actually the anniversary date. And I said, it's obviously up to you guys, but next year it'd be pretty cool if you do 25 for 25, and the month of March you sell a case of beer, you get an extra one free, so you get the 25 beers for the price of 24, 25.
Fun.
Just for a month.
Yeah.
Make
Make them work for it. Yes.
free, because when you offer free, people sometimes have four hands.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I do know this.
We got to tell some more BS.
Some more BS.
I joked on, I said one sip and you'd be telling BS. We said when we grew up, people don't always understand our humor and how we were brought up, but we were in a small little town and we didn't get out much, as it shows with our intelligence. But you watch wrestling in the morning and hockey at night.
Yep.
But, you look forward to the weekends, and it was pretty cool. Like we said, we got to perform with some of the shows that people that we got to watch, the Irish Rovers, Tommy Hunter, stuff like that. You're on cards with these guys.
Mr. Dress Up.
Mr. Dress Up. You know what?
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
But for years, we'd have storytellers come over to the house and play fiddle, and we had a neighbor of ours that was related to our mom, fabulous guy, and he would come and he would tell these stories that were, he'd tell it so well, you didn't know if it was, it's like pro wrestling. It's like, did this turn real all of a sudden? Like, and that's when it's good, when there's a hint of truth and a little bit of vinegar on the salad. And
That's what
and
makes a story.
Yeah. And the art of storytelling is dying.
Well, we tell stories like that sometimes too. It's like, now this is the story that I heard, and it doesn't sound very realistic, but I want to believe it.
I know,
because
right?
it's just a great story,
Let's talk about this a little bit before you guys have to go on and play. So, new CD, Farmer's Tan. When did this start up? This is just, let's tell us a story about this.
Came out, yesterday, 2 days ago, something like that. So this has been probably one of the longest albums ever. So, and of course, COVID hit and it slowed us down there. And so, I don't know. But we've been going to put this out for quite a while. But it's finally out now, and
I'm excited.
we think it's pretty good. It's hard to brag up your own thing, but
You got to, though. You have to. You should be proud of yourself.
We said it's funny because the picture, Sam and I took that picture. It's a really good friend of ours, Arm, but that was taken at the Chatham Plow match. I think it was 2017.
Oh, funny. Yep.
And whenever that was, or 18 around that, and so we had the ideas in the works, and we had a few stumbling blocks, like we said, COVID. We lost a few band members. We said we got a great group now, and we said our new singer is Magic, and he's had great success in the past, and he's been on radio, nominated for Country Music Awards, and we feel that he can steer us in a direction that we need to go, because he'll talk to anybody, kids, you know, elderly.
Yeah.
He's got time for you, and that's very important. And so we said we think this album's going to be amazing, and we've been toying with the idea of a Christmas album for 20 years or 25.
Do it.
Whatever. And, we
Well,
said
we were hoping to get one out for this Christmas, but we'll
Well,
see.
it's not looking
I think we,
That's okay. Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
on that. So.
or maybe it has to be a single. We've never been into releasing one song at a time. We've never done that. And people try to tell us albums are obsolete, but they don't know what they're talking about. They need to maybe make sure they know what they're talking about before they start talking, because we still sell CDs.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
We make friends with a lot of people, so that certainly goes a long way. And we think the few songs on there, for example, too, like Farmer's Tan, I think the farming community is going to eat that up.
I
You know, that
do
you're
too.
so country
Yeah.
that you were born
Yeah.
with the Farmer's Tan, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's a fun song, and I think that's going to work. And then we have, you know, some other songs too, where we have a song in there called Good Guy, and it's talking about, you know, never giving up no matter what the obstacle is in your way. It doesn't matter whether it's sickness or whatever your challenge is, but you don't have to accept defeat ever. So no matter what it is, whatever your back's against the wall, you don't give up. And so it's hopefully a motivational kind of song. And also there's a line in there too, you know, never give up and never give. And in the end, the good guy always wins.
Well, look, you guys have to get on stage because there's going to be some sad people if you don't start getting there. And I'm sure you have to have something to eat. I do want to thank you guys so much, so much for joining us. And again, like this is so exciting for us. It is near and dear to our hearts that you guys come here and play at our house, which is basically what's happening here to all these amazing people. These are all people that are here to see you. And so I really hope that that kind of resonates. And I hope it resonates with these people that you're willing to come here and play for them, because I mean, it's a small little town, right? And this is a pretty awesome little
We're
spot.
from population 1,000.
Yeah,
you know?
same, right?
We're
Yes.
originally 800, but we're up to 1,000 now. But I think we'll have to do. You know how they're doing this video now, but you eat the hot chicken wings and see what level
Yeah.
you go through the hot. I think we'll have to do an interview again down the road where we just keep drinking really hard and see what happens.
I really like this
after.
idea. Thank you so much, guys. We will do this again.
Okay.
I want to talk when we do the Christmas album for sure.
Okay. We'll shear some sheep too.
Well, you wear a kilt, the sheep run.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Stay tuned, and we will have a new episode coming out soon. Cheers. Have a great night. Thanks, guys. That's awesome.